He stared ahead, hands barely moving, mouth half open, eyes blinking as if he'd been hit and didn't know where the punch came from. For the first time in years. Asterisk, asterisk, Donald Trump was silent, asterisk. No insults, no deflection. No made-up numbers or slippery wordplay, just a long, awkward pause that swallowed the oxygen from the room. And across from him sat asterisk, asterisk, Representative Jasmine Crockett, asterisk, asterisk. Composed as ever, eyes locked, words still echoing in the air. The moment had already become history, and it had only taken asterisk, asterisk, 37 seconds, asterisk, asterisk. According to your daughter Ivanka, she said. Her voice low but lethal. Even asterisk, she asterisk, didn't believe what you were saying. That's not the radical left speaking. That's not the fake news. That's your own blood. There it was. No raised voice, no grandstanding, just asterisk, asterisk, truth, asterisk, asterisk. Cold and undeniable, carved from sworn testimony. Delivered by the one woman in the room who didn't. Flinched. Silence stretched, and the country watched. Asterisk, asterisk, Donald Trump, freeze, asterisk, asterisk. Not because someone had shouted over him. That never worked. Not because he was. Fact-checked, he never cared. But because. Asterisk, asterisk. Someone had reached through the mythology, asterisk, asterisk. He built for himself and yanked it down using the very symbol he treasured most, Ivanka. His brand in heels. His golden child of plausible deniability. The final line no one dared cross until now. Crockett had done what most politicians feared. She went into the transcripts. Pulled the truth dripping with betrayal and dropped it like a gavel across a legacy built on lies. You could hear cable news hosts exhale. Twitter threads drafted themselves. And millions who'd once begged someone asterisk, anyone asterisk, to speak without fear finally saw what it looked like. But what exactly did Crockett say in those 37 seconds? Asterisk, asterisk, and why did it shake the Trump empire to its core? Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. For years, the Trump machine didn't just run on bravado, it ran on asterisk, asterisk branding, asterisk, asterisk, and no one embodied the glossy artifice of that brand quite like. Asterisk, asterisk, Ivanka Trump. Asterisk, asterisk. She was the calm between her father's storms, the perfectly coiffed contrast to his chaos. The press called her reasonable, measured. The adult in the room, from international photo ops to West Wing walk-bys, Ivanka played the role America was conditioned to believe. The smart daughter tasked with softening the edges of her father's tornado, unapologetically ambitious, modestly scandal-proof, and always walking 2 inches behind the flames. She became his most asterisk, asterisk, lethal form of distance. Asterisk, asterisk, close enough to reassure moderates. Asterisk, asterisk, removed enough to dodge accountability, asterisk, but there's a rule in American politics that always finds its way back to the surface. Asterisk, asterisk, the truth doesn't care about optics. Asterisk, asterisk, behind closed doors. Under subpoena, Ivanka spoke. And when she did, asterisk, asterisk, something fundamental cracked, asterisk, asterisk. She didn't scream. She didn't flip. She simply leaned into the tape recorder and denied what her father had been insisting under oathless rallies, that the election had been stolen. Greater than I respected Attorney General Barr, so I accepted what he was saying. It was one sentence. Just one. But in that moment, asterisk, asterisk, Ivanka abandoned the script. Asterisk, asterisk, buried in hundreds of pages of January 6 committee transcripts. Asterisk, asterisk. That line got lost, asterisk, asterisk, skimmed over by pundits. Underreported by networks, too burnt out on Trump fatigue to dig deeper, but not asterisk, asterisk, Jasmine Crockett, asterisk, asterisk. Because while headlines moved on, asterisk, she didn't asterisk. Crockett stayed up late, highlighter in hand. Legal background buzzing. The daughter of working-class Texans, trained by justice itself. She pored over the documents like they were evidence because to her they were, and she caught it. Word for word? Ivanka's quiet betrayal to Crockett. This wasn't about one scandal. It was about a larger pattern, a rot within the house of power that used asterisk, asterisk glitz, whiteness, and generational wealth, asterisk, asterisk, as armor and silence as strategy. So as Trump kept performing, puffing, branding every investigation a leftist hoax, asterisk, asterisk, he had no idea his golden daughter had already pulled a trigger behind his back, asterisk, asterisk. Even fewer suspected that asterisk, asterisk, a first-term congresswoman from Texas, would bring that bullet into the light live. No filter. The brilliance wasn't just in the discovery. It was in Crockett's intent. She didn't yell it across the floor. She waited. Let him corner himself in lies. Watched the smirk form on his lips. And only then, asterisk, only then, asterisk, did she slip the dagger of accountability between the ribs of his dynasty, because Crockett understood what others forgot. Asterisk, asterisk, Ivanka isn't just his daughter. She's his defense. His illusion of reason. His political deodorant. Asterisk, asterisk. If Ivanka believes asterisk, he's lying asterisk. What does that make the rest of us? And while most were carefully ignoring what Ivanka really said, asterisk, asterisk, Jasmine Crockett memorized it. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Asterisk, Donald Trump didn't build a political movement. He built a asterisk, asterisk cult of personality, asterisk, asterisk. Forged in grievance, reinforced by fear, and sealed with loyalty tests, disguised as patriotism to his base. Asterisk, asterisk, loyalty wasn't earned. It was extracted. Asterisk, asterisk, you swore fealty to Trump, or you were excommunicated publicly. Brutally. Permanently, ask. Mike Pence what it's like to be showered in praise one week and nearly lynched by the next. Ask Liz Cheney how fast decades of conservative credentials evaporate the second you question. The Don, names didn't protect you. Neither did service. What mattered was allegiance. And nobody, asterisk, nobody, asterisk, had better learn to read that loyalty meter than his own children. Don Jr. mutated into caricature. Eric disappeared into echo. But asterisk, asterisk, Ivanka, asterisk, asterisk, was the diamond piece. The untouchable. The Trump who smiled on covers, charmed foreign leaders, and spoke in decorum while her father hurled insults in all caps. She was the image he clung to, not because of who she was, but because of asterisk, asterisk, what she represented, asterisk, asterisk, a woman who didn't just follow him, one who affirmed him. She softened the brand, opened doors in rooms he could never enter alone, and allowed suburban moderates to squint their way into justifying a second term. She was the distance between chaos and class, and he understood that. He weaponized it. Greater than my daughter. She's brilliant. She's beautiful. Everyone loves her. It wasn't affection. It was strategy, but like every part of the Trump mythos. Asterisk, asterisk. It was temporary. Asterisk, asterisk. Just one more illusion built to serve him, till it didn't. January 6th was the moment when faith collided with facts. Inside the Capitol, glass shattered. Outside, democracy teetered. And in hearing rooms months later, buried behind redacted files and closed-door sessions, Ivanka asterisk asterisk refused to parrot her father's lie. Asterisk asterisk, she didn't denounce him. She didn't defend him. She simply detached. And for Trump, that was betrayal. But true to form, he didn't rage at her in public. Not yet. Not outwardly, because public fury demanded plausible deniability, so he danced around her like a wounded king shielding a queen he no longer trusted. No more tweets. Rare public mentions. Always vague. But the cracks were there and they were growing. And Jasmine Crockett. She saw them coming. Trump had faced opposition before. Hell, he thrived on it. He knew how to dismiss facts, discredit experts, degrade women, and dodge justice. He'd turned every investigation into a badge and every indictment into merchandise. But what asterisk asterisk? He wasn't ready for asterisk asterisk. Not even close. Was asterisk a first term? Congresswoman from Texas? Asterisk using asterisk his daughter's own testimony to corner him on national television? Asterisk Trump didn't prepare for asterisk that asterisk war. His playbook didn't account for asterisk that kind asterisk of opposition. Because to him, women like Crockett could be talked over, brushed aside, silenced mid-thought with an eye roll, a smirk, condescending calm down. He'd done it 100 times on stage, at rallies, in debates, but Crockett wasn't there to be provoked. She was there to detonate, and she didn't raise her voice. She didn't insult. She did something worse. She dragged the ghost of Ivanka's words into the light, pulled from sworn, congressional transcripts, quoted line for line, and forced Trump, in real time, to face a truth no spin room could vacuum up. Greater than I respected Attorney General Barr, I accepted what he was saying. Asterisk Ivanka, Trump asterisk, not Adam Schiff, not a Democrat, not the media. Asterisk his daughter, asterisk suddenly. The cost of the lie asterisk looked familiar, asterisk, carried his last name, wore pearls and heels, and said, under oath, the quiet part out loud, that asterisk even she asterisk didn't believe him. He didn't yell. He didn't pivot. For once, he sat, plainly human, and plainly asterisk, cornered asterisk. The silence was deafening, because it was unfamiliar, because it wasn't predicted, because it shattered the one thing Trump always believed he had, asterisk, control. Asterisk, he built the illusion of loyalty. Asterisk, but Crockett had the receipts, and they had his daughter's signature. Asterisk, before the headlines and hashtags, before the viral clip silenced a former president, Jasmine Crockett was a defender, not of herself, but of others. Of people whose names you don't know, of kids wrongfully accused, of mothers brutalized by a system designed to fail them, of communities where the law showed up like a threat, it's not a shield. She wasn't groomed by lobbyists or polished by consultants. She was hardened by the justice system and shaped by war inside the courtroom. As a civil rights attorney in Texas, she didn't sit behind some mahogany desk while injustice steamrolled black and brown communities. She walked directly into the fire, briefs in hand, passion in her chest, purpose on her tongue. She didn't come from money, didn't carry a famous last name. What she held was even heavier. She carried the expectations of generations that had been too polite, too afraid, or too silenced to say what needed to be said out loud. She often tells people she didn't choose politics, politics chose her. It started the way these stories often do. Another questionable arrest, a DA's office dragging its heels, a grassroots protest demanding anyone stand up and say, "This isn't justice?" And Jasmine answered, "Elected to the Texas House at a time when the air in the state legislature was thick with suppression bills, anti-protest crackdowns, and voter roll purges, Crockett stood with a folder full of facts and a side-eye that could slice concrete. "You're not going to talk to me like I'm dumb," she said on the House floor once, calmly interrupting a GOP colleague mid-mansplain. "I'm not here to make you comfortable." That quote went semi-viral. But what hit harder was the pause afterward, the way the room went quiet, the way people realized she wasn't performing, she was applying pressure. Crockett didn't have to shout to be heard. She knew the power of leaving silence in her wake. She wasn't just smart, she was surgical. Her legal mind was forged in hours of testimony, affidavits, and closing arguments. She anticipated moves before they came. She listened better than most, because where she came from, listening kept people alive. By the time she reached Washington, she'd already learned the Beltway preferred its black women in politics resilient, not fiery. Sharp, but never sharp-tongued. Assertive, but only when it was on brand, and only after the men had spoken. Crockett? She met that nonsense with a firm no. She braided her hair and wore red lipstick. She quoted Policy and Beyoncé. She refused to pick between excellence and edge. Cable news producers started calling. They assumed she'd be the rising star who flashed brilliance, but stayed polite. She'd smile, they thought, speak eloquently, take soft jabs instead. She dismantled GOP talking points live on air like she was revising a poorly written contract. They weren't ready. Neither were her Republican colleagues in Congress. And then came the hearings, the charges, the witnesses. The Trump orbit collapsing in slow motion beneath the weight of emails, subpoenas, and silence. Most of Washington responded like it always does, with spin and detachment. But Crockett, she leaned in, not to grandstand, not to go viral, but because this was her terrain. Carefully worded transcripts, evasive testimonies, legally slippery language meant to delay justice and deflect consequences. She'd seen all of it in court. She wasn't intimidated, and then she found it, buried in Ivanka Trump's dry, cautious testimony, like a single rose blooming in graveyard dirt. I accepted what the Attorney General was saying. 10 little words, but coming from Ivanka, the polished stand-in for her father's legitimacy, they were a torpedo aimed straight at the heart of his narrative. Crockett paused, printed the line, read it again, verified the timist, and then she smiled. This wasn't just a quote. It was an opening. She knew the rules Trump played by: dominate the microphone, flood the zone with garbage, talk over anyone he couldn't outthink. He weaponized chaos like a war drum. But Crockett had something he couldn't outmaneuver, his family's own confession, and she knew exactly when to use it. There were no run-throughs, no rehearsals, just a single moment, carefully timed, not to cater to outrage, but to deliver a lesson in power. Because for Jasmine Crockett, politics was never about theater. It was about truth with consequences. And if that meant shaking the foundation of a man who claimed the truth was fake just because it didn't serve him, so be it. She didn't come to Congress to tiptoe. She came to tell the truth. And when she saw Ivanka's exact words, irrefutable, documented, undeniable, she didn't see scandal. She saw her duty. Crockett didn't go looking for a takedown moment, but when she saw Ivanka's exact words, she knew silence wasn't an option. It was classic Trump. He leaned into the mic with faux ease, chin lifted like a man auditioning for a praise piece, and began what he always called just telling the truth, which of course really meant a blizzard of half-facts, ego, misdirection, and just enough performative outrage to keep the cameras locked on him. He smirked as he spoke, about how the Democrats were desperate, how the investigations were witch hunts, how the media had twisted the narrative, about how no one had done more for this country, how they were afraid of his return, and how even my own family knows the election was stolen. A beat. He didn't notice it yet. But someone across the table stiffened slightly. Even my own family, he repeated, drawing it out like a chant. Jasmine Crockett didn't blink. She simply adjusted the pen in her hand, but she knew what had just happened. Asterisk, asterisk. He had said the one thing she was waiting for. Asterisk, asterisk still.
Asterisk still.
She gave him more rope. He swaggered through anecdotes about his crowds, his court cases, his so-called triumphs in the face of persecution. It was Trump in his element, making the absurd sound inevitable, the lies look believable, the air hang heavy with distraction. And the room? It responded as expected. Some rolled their eyes, others scribbled notes. A few GOP allies nodded sternly, chewing their pens like they were watching Churchill at work. But Crockett. And waited. She wasn't interested in his performance. She wasn't there to match him in volume. She wasn't counting his lies. They were too many. She was marking time. Because this was asterisk, asterisk, the setup asterisk, asterisk. Every great cross-examination starts with a lull. You let the defendant talk themselves into confidence. You let them dance. Let them brag. Let them believe they're running things. That's when they get sloppy. And Trump had just done. Asterisk, asterisk, exactly that. Asterisk, asterisk, because no one had forced him to invoke Ivanka. That wasn't in any script. No staffer advised him to bring her into it. But his ego couldn't resist. He needed to flash the name. Remind people that she supported him. anchor his truth to what America still believed was unimpeachable family loyalty. But Crockett knew better. She had the line sitting silently in a binder beside her legal pad was the exact sentence, asterisk, asterisk, Ivanka's real words, asterisk, asterisk, the ones spoken softly behind closed doors but recorded forever in the public record. And now, Trump had welcomed them into the room. Still, she let him finish. She didn't cut him off, didn't rush to rebut, because this wasn't a debate. This was courtroom rhythm. And Crockett had asterisk, asterisk, learned in her earliest trials, asterisk, asterisk, that silence could become a weapon. Let him paint himself as the victim. Let him play the martyr again. Let the world hear him out one last time before showing them what betrayal really sounded like. And so, for minutes that stretched like wire, Crockett sat steady, eyes motionless, reading not his words but everything between them. Asterisk, asterisk. She didn't react. She remembered. Asterisk, asterisk. And just when Trump thought he'd finished steamrolling the room. Asterisk, asterisk, Crockett reached for her mic. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The moment Jasmine Crockett touched the mic, the energy changed. It wasn't dramatic, not the way most viral moments begin. No fire in her voice, no sharp inhale, just a subtle shift in posture, the sound of a sleeve brushing fabric, and fingers purposefully flipping through a binder already marked, highlighted, and ready. Trump leaned back, his grin still faint along one cheek. Didn't see it coming. Not yet. Crockett looked up. Her voice was even deliberate. Mr. Trump, you've repeatedly asserted that your family, especially your daughter, stood by your assessment of the 2020 election. Murmurs in the room. The change had begun. You said, and I quote, "If anyone knows the truth, it's my own daughter." Still no reaction. Trump was bored, or pretending to be. And yet Crockett continued, flipping the final tab. In her folder, according to sworn testimony before the January 6th committee, your daughter said something very different. Now Trump tilted forward. His face didn't move much, but the temperature dropped. He knew the rhythm of resistance. He'd stared down journalists, prosecutors, judges. But something about this felt surgical, precise, final. Crockett didn't blink. From the transcript, I respect Attorney General Barr and accepted what he was saying. Silence. She was asked whether she believed the election was stolen. And in that moment, Miss Trump, your own daughter, confirmed under oath that she did not support your claims. No spin, no conjecture, just fact. The quote hung in the air like a slow grenade. Pin already pulled. Trump stopped blinking for a beat. Then Crockett leaned in. So when you say your family backed you, when you say even Ivanka agrees, are you forgetting what she told Congress? She paused. Or are you knowingly lying to the American people? A deep old silence stretched across the room like fog over a battlefield. Trump opened his mouth, closed it, the smirk cracked, and for the first time in years he didn't speak. No flame-throwing comeback. No random tangent about windmills or Hillary Clinton. No accusation of fake news or nasty woman. Just a man caught between myth and moment. And nothing left to say. Jasmine Crockett didn't raise her voice. She didn't rub it in. She just stared. A woman with every right to relish the moment, but enough discipline not to. I'll enter the full transcript into the record, she said quietly. Shouldn't be forgotten. Trump still said nothing. The room shifted. Even his allies looked away. And somewhere deep on the internet, the first clip was already being uploaded. The freeze frame of his expression, the 37-second clip. The words, according to Ivanka Trump. What came next wasn't spoken. It was streamed, shared, memed, and memorialized by a nation exhausted with denial and hungry for clarity. Twitter seated it instantly atop its trending list. Hashtag Ivanka said it. Hashtag Crockett37 #mic drop Monday. A TikTok clip of Crockett's delivery, edited with pulsing synth and slow zoom on Trump's frozen face. Hit 1 million views in under an hour. Satirical accounts posted cartoon sketches of a golden statue with Crockett holding a mic. Trump melting like wax. We just watched the lie die in real time. One viral tweet read, on Instagram, reels, piled up voiceover narrations, remixes, gospel versions sung to church piano chords. Even legacy outlets admitted what everyone else already felt. CNN. Crockett shatters Trump's narrative with Ivanka's own words. MSNBC. Masterclass in restraint. Evidence and exposure. Fox News. Curiously silent. Because the power of Crockett's move wasn't in aggression. It was in accuracy. She didn't name-call. She didn't interrupt. She quoted exactly what was said, and the quiet that followed. That wasn't weakness. It was truth landing without resistance. For Trump, who lived on deflection like oxygen, it was suffocating. You could almost see it on his face, the calculation, the disbelief. Someone dug deep enough, aimed carefully enough, and moved so quietly that by the time he heard the quote, the damage had already been done. Political operatives scrambled to adjust their group chats. Right-wing pundits started crafting talking points. Maybe Ivanka was confused. It was taken out of context. Crockett twisted the tone. But none of it landed because the footage did. Raw, undeniable, 37 seconds. Without music, makeup, or manipulation. Just a moment of reckoning with nothing standing in the way. And Jasmine Crockett, she didn't flinch. She closed the binder, adjusted the mic, and leaned back in her seat. Perfectly calm. The trap didn't need to close loudly. It closed precisely because this wasn't a gotcha game. This was a woman with the facts, the discipline, and the voice to strike a chord where it hurt the most. Not at Trump's ego, but at his myth. She erased it using the last name he thought would never betray. I've single. The clip went viral in minutes, but the real shock came hours later, and the right-wing media machine tried desperately to suppress it. Asterisk, 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 hashtag daughter, debunked. The internet reacts to the silence that froze. Trump didn't stay in that chamber. It detonated online. Within minutes, the hashtags lit up like fireworks across the digital sky. Hashtag daughter, debunked. Hashtag Ivanka said what? Crockett 7 seconds. Twitter threads stacked like falling dominoes, each one replaying that moment in grainy clips ripped straight from the broadcast. One viral post screamed, "When your own daughter doesn't believe you, how do you sell anyone else the lie?" Another simply shared the freeze frame of Trump's face with the caption, 37 seconds of silence louder than 37 rallies. TikTok creators went wild. They slowed the footage to half speed, overlaying dramatic orchestral swells as Crockett spoke Ivanka's name. Others remixed it into memes. Trump frozen while text popped up on screen. System error. Family trust not found. Within hours, the clip had been viewed tens of millions of times. And it wasn't just social media. The mainstream couldn't ignore it. Cable news panels played the exchange on loop, anchors leaning into the silence with almost gleeful disbelief. CNN dubbed it the moment that stopped Trump. MSNBC called it a political sermon. Even Fox News, normally a fortress for Trump, struggled. One commentator muttered reluctantly it was a brutal moment. No way around it. Meanwhile, Crockett herself didn't gloat. She didn't post a victory meme or amplify the frenzy. Instead, she leaned into calm. One simple tweet from her account cut through the chaos. Truth doesn't shout. It stands. The line was retweeted hundreds of thousands of times, quoted like scripture, stitched into videos by creators across the spectrum. Trump's camp, by contrast, scrambled. Aides whispered about mischaracterization. Press surrogates claimed Crockett was out of line, and allies tried to pivot to other topics. Because the silence wasn't Crockett's, it was his. And no statement could unfreeze that moment. Fake screenshots of imagined texts circulated. Ivanka allegedly messaging friends. I told him years ago this wouldn't end well. Memes piled up. Satirical accounts ran headlines like, Trump's new campaign slogan, if looks could stare. But underneath the humor, a deeper current flowed. Faith leaders posted about honesty. Legal scholars framed the moment as symbolic of accountability finally catching up to power. One viral op-ed put it plainly, Crockett spoke for every courtroom where truth has been ignored. By dawn, the conversation had shifted from a single clash to something larger. Was this the moment Trump's armor finally cracked? Was this the proof that even family couldn't insulate him from the weight of accountability? for Crockett. It was more than a trending moment. It was validation that her weapon was never volume, but precision. For Trump, it was a reminder that silence in politics isn't strength, it's exposure. The internet had declared its verdict, but the story wasn't finished, because Crockett didn't just go viral. Her moment reignited a fire on Capitol Hill lawmakers had tried to bury. Truth doesn't need permission, it just needs volume. What happened in that chamber was never just about a sanction, a debate, or a headline moment. It was about what happens when truth collides with entitlement and refuses to move. For years, Donald Trump built an empire on the power of his name. The family brand became his armor, shielding him from critics, insulating him from accountability, and projecting an aura of untouchable authority. But on that day, Jasmine Crockett revealed the cracks in that armor with something far more durable than wealth or legacy. She used truth. Crockett's power wasn't performative. It wasn't a viral stunt crafted for applause. It was generational, a culmination of a lineage of voices told to sit down, to be quiet, to wait their turn. Her refusal to bow wasn't just her own rebellion, it was the inheritance of every ancestor who was silenced, every community dismissed, every woman of color who learned to carry dignity like both shield and sword. And when she invoked Ivanka's words, when she turned Trump's own bloodline into a mirror of accountability, became clear. Evidence doesn't shout, but it doesn't need to. Precision cuts sharper than rage. This was the lesson. In a political landscape drowning in noise slogans, rallies, hashtags clarity is courage, Crockett didn't need to out-yell him. She needed only to stand, to speak, to lay truth plainly in the record. The silence that followed wasn't weakness. It was victory, because it wasn't disrespect. It was precision. It wasn't rage. It was reality, and America felt it. The themes stretched beyond that courtroom. This was dignity over legacy. It was courage as clarity. It was a woman of color, seizing narrative space, not asking permission. Not waiting for an invitation, but stepping into the center and defining the moment. For Trump, silence was exposure. For Crockett, silence was resonance. And for the country, silence became recognition that truth had slipped past the walls of wealth and entitlement and landed. Unshakable, undeniable, unforgettable. History doesn't always roar. Sometimes it echoes, and while Trump deflects, the truth still echoes in Crockett's voice, in Ivanka's words. And in every silence that followed, Trump spoke first. But history will remember who finished it in 2025 on live television. The man who built an empire on chaos was silenced in less than 37 seconds. Not with rage, not with bluster, but with receipts. That was the difference. Crockett didn't out-yell. She outproved. And that shift is why this moment will linger long after the clips fade from trending feeds. Because legacies aren't rewritten by slogans, they're rewritten by truth spoken clearly, fearlessly, and at the right time. Think about it. The Trump machine has steamrolled opponents for years with volume and spectacle. But one Texas congresswoman cracked that facade, not with insults, but with precision. The silence that followed wasn't an ending, it was a marker. A reminder that the old playbook no longer works when the evidence is undeniable. And that's why history will remember who finished it. Now the question is, where do we go from here? If you believe in truth louder than legacy, then this is your place. Hit subscribe right now to stand with voices that cut through the noise. Turn on notifications. Be the first to catch Jasmine Crockett's next move before the spin machines twist it. Share this video with anyone who's tired of fake narratives dominating headlines. Because in moments like these, silence is not an option. Every share, every click, every comment is part of building a record of truth, dignity, and the America we deserve. Trump spoke first, but history will remember who finished it.